Hi guys, today I'm going to be creating another wedding card. So I shared a wedding card with you earlier this week and I figured at this time of year you can't have enough wedding cards, so I'm going to go and make another one with a slightly different theme to it. And I'm going to be using two stamp sets from Lawn Fawn. The first is Happy Wedding, and I think the little tiny wedding birds are just so cute in this stamp set. And I'm also going to be using the Baked with Love. So I've got some scraps of cardstock here. I've got white and patterned cardstock, and I'm just going ahead and stamping everything out using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. So you'll see that I'm stamping just certain sections of the cake onto the patterned paper, and that's because I'm going to do some fussy cutting and actually have the designs of the patterned paper be the patterns on the cake. And I think this really helps with when you want something that's going to look a little bit special and a little bit different without the effort, I suppose, of having to colour that in. So I decided to also use my scraps of paper to create a banner, and I guess just because I'm hopeless, I decided to use my stencil from Simon Says Stamp to trace perfect triangles to make sure that all of my banner shapes are exactly the same. So now I've got this piece of burlap, and what I've just done there is cut out the centre because I want to be able to place a white piece of cardstock on top and have a mat, and then I'm going to use that centre piece to create another mat. So I hope you're with me still. That will make a little bit more sense as we go through the video. So I've just applied some double-sided sticky tape onto the the front of my 5x7 card base, and I'm just applying that first layer of burlap. So this is then going to be my mat that will sit on top of that, and this is cut to be slightly smaller than 5x7, and I've just gone ahead and traced where I think that banner is going to sit, and I'm just poking holes straight through this card because I'm going to have some stitching detail. So I'm using my multi-medium in the matte finish to go ahead and add those banners. And one of the reasons I'm using the banners and the burlap on this card is I've actually taken some inspiration for this card from the wedding invite. And I think that's a really good idea if you've been invited to a wedding and you're a little bit stuck on exactly how you're going to make the wedding card. I think the wedding invitation can tell you a lot about the theme or the style of the wedding, and you can definitely take some inspiration from that. So I've got another piece of cardstock. You'll see that I have actually switched to cream. I was considering using white at one point and I switched to cream, so just in case anyone was wondering where that white panel had gone. And I've matted that on top of some of the burlap, and I'm just going ahead and building that cake. So here I've got the little birds that I've stamped down onto a scrap of paper just to keep consistent with the patterned paper piecing theme. And I didn't bother to cut out those teeny tiny legs. I'm just going to go ahead and add those back in with a Copic multi-liner. So once I've got the birds stuck down, I can just draw two straight lines from the body to the top of the cake. So one of the things I really like to do whenever I'm working with burlap on a card is just to go ahead and peel away some of the threads from the edges of the burlap to leave some of that pattern. I just think it looks really nice. It just adds a little something to the burlap. So I'm placing the cake with the little lovebirds on top in the bottom centre of the card, and then I decided that actually rather than just having the stitching detail going across the top of the banner, I actually wanted it right around pretty much everything. I got a little bit carried away, so I just took some of my twine and a needle and just wound backwards and forwards and just used some tape to secure that. My sentiment for the inside of the card is "Congratulations, you tied the knot," and this came from the Lawn Fawn stamp set. So I'm just going ahead and using my stamp chamois to clean everything up. And then again, I'm just going to peel away some of those edges of the burlap to give that same frayed effect along the front panel. So it does look kind of messy at the moment because you've just got that raw edge on the inside, but that will all be covered up once I stick my card panel down. You won't be able to see, and you've conserved some of your burlap. So to neaten up the edges a little bit, I'm just going ahead and taking my fabric scissors and I'm just cutting along the edge to snip off some of those extra long pieces of the burlap to make it nice and clean along those edges. So to stick my card panel down to the front of the card, I'm going to go ahead and use my ATG tape runner, and I'm just going to run that tape all along the back of the card, And I've also added a little bit of foam tape there just to, craft foam, just to give a little bit of extra dimension between the card base and the card panel. So I'm going to centre that up and press it down firmly. I really like the way the stitching turned out on this card. I think it's a really easy way to add something extra to a card, to just go ahead and use a paper piercer to create all of those holes and then just weave your thread in and out. So for the coordinating envelope, I've got the two little birds again, but I decided this time to have one on either side of the card. I kind of feel like it tells a bit of a story, so they're kind of, I don't know, they're all like prepared for their wedding. One, he's on his side, she's on her side, and then on the front of the card, they're both on the top of the cake together. So once again, I haven't fussy cut out the legs, they're just too small and it would be too fiddly, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw those back in with my Copic multiliner again. If you're interested in any of the products that I've used today, I will have the majority of them linked below to both UK and US suppliers, so you can go ahead and take a look. So to finish this off, I decided the little bride bird needed just a little bit of extra sparkle, so that flower that she has in her hair, I've just gone ahead and added a miniature gem. And please excuse that wire on the right hand side. At some point my camera died and I plugged it into charge while I was filming and clearly just didn't notice that that wire was dangling right in shot, so sorry about that. Okay, so there we have it. That's it for today's card. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've found it useful. If you have, please let me know by hitting like. If you're not already a subscriber, then go ahead and click on my logo to subscribe. And there's a couple more videos on screen right now that I think you might enjoy. If you haven't already seen them, then go ahead and click on the icons, and I hope to see you here again soon. That's all from me. Bye for now.